We've made our way to Austria, where we've invited tennis players and creators from all over the world to put Head's new gravity rackets to the test. After playtesting the rackets, we got their thoughts on the update and how they compare to the previous versions. Tennis Warehouse presents the Head Gravity Super Review.
I'm Jonas, I run the social media site Tennis Nerd.
I'm Grusha from Gladiators Tennis.
I'm Max, I'm from France, and I work with Tennis Legend.
My name is Will Bocek, I'm from Fort Worth, Texas, and I run Tennis Tribe.
Hi, I'm Annalena, I'm from Germany, and I'm here with Tennis Warehouse Europe.
My name's Sam Bigg, I'm from Melbourne, Australia, and I'm from Hit With Me on Instagram.
I'm Chris Edwards from Tennis Warehouse.
Based on the player's skill level and play style, they were either outfitted with an MP or Pro version of the gravity racket, though some players just couldn't resist and had to hit with both. The first thing we wanted to know, was it love at first sight?
My first impression of the new Head Gravity was probably everyone else's first impression, is that it looks sexy. They went from the two colors on either side to a more like sleek, solid, classy style, and I really dig it.
I like the aesthetic of the racket because it's mainly dark and black.
I think it's really eye-catching, and there's not much like it in the tennis space at the moment with other rackets.
The cosmetic is the best cosmetic I've seen in a long time from Head.
The colors aren't too kind of overwhelming, so I like the new cosmetic on the Gravity.
It's, for me, one of the most beautiful rackets out there.
It seems everyone agrees. It's a good-looking racket. But where does the Gravity fit in compared to Head's other racket families?
So the Gravity is kind of in the sweet spot of the whole Head range. It's just kind of perfect for you looking for control, but you want a bit more help, a bit more forgiveness and pace. It's not going to be a powerful racket, so it's more of a control frame. But if you like, for example, the Radical, but you need a little bit more help at the net, a bit more pop on serve, the Gravity is kind of perfect.
You kind of get the best of both worlds. You get the control, also kind of get the spin, and also kind of get the power, which is just perfect for me.
The Gravity line for me sits in the Head lineup as a real traditional response for a Head racket. I've always thought of Head rackets having great feel, and this one just has a ton of great feel.
Yeah, the new Gravity compared to the older generation is just a little bit better in all departments, I would say. So it's a bit more stable, has a bit softer feel for you guys who are looking for that. And it's just overall a slightly better racket. It's not like a shocking, huge update, but it's just a good step in the right direction.
I've been playing with the Gravity for the last 2 years, so I got the first and the second generation, now this one. And I kind of felt like there's nowhere to improve it anymore, but Head definitely nailed it with the Exotic because it added that stability feel that it already had, but just took it up a notch, and that's definitely something I really like about it.
For those of you who don't know what auxetic is, it's Head's unique way of structuring the carbon fibers within a racket that makes for some unique properties. When a tennis ball makes impact with the string bed, the racket's internal structure adapts depending on where the ball hits, which leads to a more solid impact feel.
The standout feature of the Gravity family is the sweet spot, the stability, so you feel like when you're at the net, you feel like you always have a good room to actually have a miss hit or actually play a little bit of a weaker shot that will still be a good shot. So I think that's really the whole thing with Gravity. It's like you get that sweet spot and that forgiveness that you don't get from other control rackets.
With this racket, I was able to hit my targets really well. I also felt confident to go for riskier shots and also for smaller targets.
If you have a good rhythm, if you're confident at the net, it's pretty easy to finish the points and to do aces.
So a standout feature for the Gravity Pro for me was the ability to step forward from the baseline and take balls on the rise and really control the shot in that way. So I didn't really like as much when I had to step back and generate my own pace, but when I was able to absorb pace, redirect the ball, I found a lot of success with that.
What I like the most about this racket is its stability paired with its control, because my favorite shot is the backhand, and I really need the most stability and the most control for the down-the-line passings when the other guy's in the net, so I can go poof.
The Gravity name comes from the idea that the ball is drawn to the center of the racket thanks to its generous sweet spot, making off-center hits less likely so players can really go for their targets, placing the ball with confidence. So what shots did the racket perform best at?
Picking a favorite shot with the Gravity Pro is tough for me because I really like it on my backhand slice. I feel super precise with that shot, but I also like the feel and touch I get at net.
So my favorite shot with the Gravity was definitely my volleys. I found that the Pro version was very stable at the net.
Yeah, the favorite shot I like to play with the Gravity is my backhand because it's stronger than my forehand. And the slice. I felt a lot of control with the slice. It gets some good depth. And then I could just hit a small volley behind the net, which was perfect.
So my favorite shot with the Gravity MP was my backhand, especially the short cross-court.
My favorite shot with the Gravity was volleys, so I was able to volley really cleanly and really get some good touch at the net.
Between all of our testers, the Gravity seemed to excel in backhands and volleys up at net. Now the big question is, what type of player is the Gravity for?
I mean, if I had to recommend the Gravity Pro, it would be for someone who is very aggressive, but still doesn't want to compromise the massive sweet spot of the 100-inch square racket.
For the more advanced players, I would go with the Pro because it gives you more control, more weight on your shots, better stability, but it's obviously more demanding to swing.
I think the Gravity is for players who are aiming winners and pretty powerful players. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's what I feel.
I would tell them that it's a very control-oriented racket. I would tell them that it has really good stability, but they're going to need to be the type of player that really generates their own power.
The Gravity MP, the mid-plus usually is for a large audience. It's really the mid-plus range. You want to have forgiveness, you want to have control, you want to have a little bit of everything. It's a bit easier to use, and I think it can fit like a really wide demographic of players.
So I think that the head Gravity is better suited to an intermediate or performance tennis player who has a good tennis background and can really get the most out of it.
I would tell them that it's giving you a lot of control, it's easy to swing through, and it's maneuverable, making it a player-friendly racket.
It's like when you love a racket, right? You kind of want to recommend it to everyone, but I know it's not going to work for everyone.
Grisha has a good point. This racket may not be for everyone, but for aggressive players who want control without sacrificing a large sweet spot, this one's for you. For more information on Gravity rackets, head to Tennis Warehouse.